Chris, does this room in any way remind you of the set of The Thick of It?
Yeah, in some respects, in that you sort of come in and you're immediately depressed. It's slightly dreary and cluttered, and that's what the art department were definitely going for with The Thick of It.
We're going to spark ourselves up for this 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to put the battery in.
Okay.
And please would you count us down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, yeah, what you presumably want me to do is in time with this thing.
In time with the ticking
because you can't see it, I'll do it, all right.
I can
so it is on 5
see it.
now,
I can see it a bit, it's on 5 now.
Okay, so I'm going to say 5 now,
yes.
and I'll do the other bits after. So 5.
Well, I haven't put the battery in
I
yet.
know, but it's on 5. If you want me to get to 5,
yes.
right,
yep.
you have to start there.
Oh,
so
but just before, okay.
Yeah, so 5, now
right.
you put the battery in and I'll do the other bit.
Okay, go. Well, that's sort of 5.
4,
yes.
3, 2, 1, go.
Do you enjoy being stopped and talked to in the streets?
Sometimes, but not if it's by the tax.
By the what?
Tax or the DSS or anybody else asking questions.
Do you like being the centre of attention?
In really laboratory controlled conditions. On stage, stand-up show, absolutely. Anywhere else, no. I found my wedding unbelievably nerve-wracking for that exact reason.
When you became famous, did your friends start treating you differently?
Yes, they now call me Mr. Addison. Do they treat me differently? No, I don't think so. No.
Tell me a little bit about the difference between comic acting and stand-up routine, and do you prefer one or the other?
I usually prefer whichever one I'm doing, actually, which is quite a lucky position to be in. The difference is stand-up routine, you're completely in control, I suppose, and you know it's not a character. Well, it's a kind of character version of you, but it's not a character. Comic acting, you're playing a part with a load of other people. It's nice because there's teamwork, but the payoff is somebody else has the final say on what gets said and what goes out, and so you've lost control.
When you're doing your stand-up, how do you remember your material?
You remember your material because I get to the theatre early and I spray painted on the back of the stalls in the theatre. But
I haven't done with my questions.
It's I told you, I did give you the opportunity. But also because you put it together over quite a long period of time. It's not like if somebody gave you a chunk of 2 hours and then went, go, right, learn that for tomorrow. That would be a nightmare. But of course you write it over months and you know the shape changes and you add little bits, and so it's all kind of come together, as people say, organically.
Well, how do you come up with the ideas?
With my crazy ideas?
Yeah.
Where do I get
organically
my crazy
aside?
What I should do is I should carry a notebook around with me, and when funny things occur to me or happen, note them down.
But you just don't do that?
No, for a number of reasons. First, I'm lazy. Secondly, imagine doing that. Imagine we were in the pub and you said a thing and I went, yeah, hang on. Sorry, carry on. It would be incredibly unnerving and unpleasant. So I don't do that. So what happens is that a few months or a couple of months before I go out on tour, I get to my office and go and try and think of something funny, and the process goes on from there.
Do you tweet when you're with friends?
When I'm with friends, no.
Do you have rules about Twitter, when to use it and when not to?
I had to buy myself a program to stop myself from using Twitter when I was writing this last stand-up show. I kind of dropped off Twitter to the point where people were going, you normally tweet about 7 times an hour, where are you? And I had to buy this program, fantastic program called Antisocial, and it just stops your computer from being able to access Facebook or Twitter or any kind of social networking. It's life-savingly brilliant for a writer. When
did you first think you could make a career out of being a comedian?
I was very lucky in that it happened quite quickly for me. I started on Easter Monday in 1995, and by a year later I went pro, because I started in the right place at the right time. I was in Manchester in the mid-90s and it was all very fashionable then. There was Caroline Aherne and Henry Normal and Craig Cash and Steve Coog and John Thompson. They were all around doing stuff, and so it was a huge thing in Manchester, but still small enough for us to kind of for you to be able to do quite a lot. You know, you could get quite a long way quite quickly, and so yeah. Did you ever learn how to act, or did you sort of teach yourself? Did I ever learn how to act? No, I sometimes feel very, very under-prepared for that, because The Thick of It was the first acting I'd ever done. No, I find I need to... I had a thing that I had to do for Skins, which was a big scene, where I thought, I don't have the tools for this, and I bought myself a book to look at, to try and learn some of the things that I've never had because I've never had any training. So yeah, no, I've not learned, and I don't really think I know how to do it.
When you're on a panel show, do you feel competitive with the other comedians, or do you enjoy collaborative comedy?
You do feel competitive. Yes, there's no other way. You can't help that. But collaborative is the best. The best thing on Mock the Week is when something happens, somebody says something, another person says another thing, and we all build the idea. That's when it's at its funniest and most enjoyable. Did
you go to university?
Yes.
I think, and you did English?
Yes.
So where did you get your interest in science from?
Well, I wanted to do science. Right up until the age of 11, I imagined I would be a scientist, and then I did my first science lesson at school, and I realised it was never going to happen.
And you're interested in space?
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, I loved all that. I loved all that. Then I went to the Science Museum, and there's a wonderful module there, and I just love it.
Would you like to go to the moon?
We'll never know.
Really good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
This is total cheating.
Yeah.
But I forgot to ask you a question. What was it like? What is it like being shouted at by the character Malcolm Tucker?
Well, it's terrifying. It's made worse by the fact when I started doing the thick of it, as I said, I'd not done any acting, and Peter Capaldi, who plays Malcolm Tucker, he's been so good to me, and he really took me under his wing. I owe him an awful lot, actually. Anyway, but the point is, he's a lovely man, right? And we did a scene for one of the specials, which is where Malcolm waits for Ollie in the toilet. So asking
Ollie's your character.
Ollie's my character. Yeah, waits for Ollie in the toilet, and Ollie's no idea that he's there. And we did this scene after lunch, and we'd been on the dining bus, and it was really lovely. And we were just kind of full of stuff, full of food, quite content. Been chatting for an hour. We wandered back upstairs in the location. Got into the toilet where we were filming. Everybody was sorting out the lights and the cameras, whatever. We carried on chatting. And then Armando Iannucci, directing, shouted, "Action!" And Peter's eyes just went like that. Terrifying. Just these eyes just go. And he went, "Right!" And it's just, and if you watch the scene, you can see me back my way up. He backed me right into a sink. I ended up sitting in a sink. Because he's so terrifying. When he just switches it on, it's extraordinary. You think, I don't know where that comes from. There's something deep down in there.
Brilliant. Good to see you.
Nice to see you, man.